This week we hike with Shawn and Corinne from Travels of Red Rover down a trail to find a waterfall. And sometimes you gotta go for that money shot.
Like cuttlefish.
Here comes Shawn and the camera behind us, right there.
Yeah, right
there.
there.
He is. So you can definitely tell we're still hanging out with Shawn and Corinne Severin from the Travels of Red Rover.
Yep.
And Shelley's right there.
Hi guys.
We're photographing this beautiful waterfall. There's some issues with it. The main one being there's a huge platform that you're pretty much restricted to. So that limits your compositions. So a lot of our photographs are going to look fairly similar. So for my composition, I threw on my ND filter and knocked down the glare, the little bit of glare that's getting through from the canyon walls above. And then I used the 6-stop ND filter just to try to get some different exposure settings. I know this is going to be a blend because of the molded light that's falling in here. What'd you do, dear?
Pretty much the same thing you did. I got a circular polarizer on there and a 6-stop ND, and just trying to slow the water down a little bit to get some of that blur in there. And yeah, the modeling of the canyon is a difficult thing to work with. You got really dark areas and you've got some really, really bright areas on the canyon wall on the other side. So it's a little tricky to give a shot, but I think we'll get there. So
here's the photos now, and we'll see you in a little bit. So I have to say this, Roughlock Falls was a really challenging location. On top of that, I had a migraine going. If you notice, I said molded, not modeled, and I would also call it Dalmatian light. Specular, really spotty, and really contrasty. So this is the raw image that we're showing you here, okay? The first step in my post-processing was to take that raw image and crop it down to just the lower part of the falls. No matter what I did bracketing-wise, that upper part and the lower part, I just couldn't find a blend that I liked. There's too much clutter, too much chaos in it for my liking. So for the first step, I cropped it down. So I still haven't done any real post-processing at this point. It's just a different crop. With that being said, I do like the crop better. It's tighter. The Dalmatian light, as I'm calling it, is not as negative of an impact on the overall photograph. Sure, the left side is still way underexposed as opposed to the right. Now I'm bringing in the processed photo on the right. You'll notice that even though the left is still in the shade, the contrast and the exposure of the overall image is a little bit closer to what I'd want. It was definitely the wrong time of day, and I'm gonna blame photo pills and the ephemeris, because when looking at them, it looked like the falls would still be in shadow at the time of day we arrived. That we would have had a couple more hours to photograph. That clearly wasn't the case. I strongly believe that this is a late afternoon, early evening location for photography. Tell me what you think down below. Here are Shelley's first takes on Roughlock Falls. I feel she did better than I did in handling the situation with the light. There again, you do see what I'm calling Dalmatian light. All the spotted highlights that are almost blown out. She was able to get a better exposure in the field. Hats off to my wife. I always think she's a better photographer than myself, and it could be the fact that I'm also trying to do the video. But I'm not going to have any excuses on this one other than the migraine. Okay, so for the second composition, I came up closer to the falls and threw on the 14 to 24 mil lens. Cranked it out to 14. The intent here is to crop that image down to a panoramic. I tried doing it with my 70 to 300, but unfortunately it just doesn't come out level enough to do a whole swipe with the pan. Shelley's already got her shots in the bag from this part. So here are the photos from both of us, and you'll most likely hear me talking about them a little bit more. So here's those shots. Here again, you could tell I had a migraine going. It wasn't the fact that I couldn't get the camera and the tripod level enough for a panoramic. The problem that I had was the angle of descent of the falls. I would have needed to shoot a multi-row panoramic and crop in on it. Plus, all the clutter was too much distraction. Tell me how you handle a situation like this yourself in the field. Give me a comment down below. I still don't feel that either of these are really portfolio images for me. Here's Shelley's second batch. I like the silkiness that she got. She was able to achieve something better than what I conceivably envisioned while we were in the field that day. This one is my favorite right there. I love the crop. I love the water flow. Some people don't like that real silky, smooth look. They want a little bit of detail. But sometimes I like this. All in all, I'm okay with the photographs that I came away with on that day. I do not think they're portfolio worthy. So let me know what you think down below. With that said, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of gratuitous slow-mo B-roll here. Probably my favorite piece of media that I recorded or photographed on that day. This really gives the feeling of the location. Also, do me a big favor. If you haven't already done so, go over and check out Shawn and Corinne's take on this location. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button and ding the bell for future notifications, and give me a big thumbs up if you like this video. We'll see you next time.